Hello, everyone. It's 1 o'clock here on IC Radio. I'm Georgia.
And I'm Lottie. Welcome back to Science at 1, where we bring you the best science, news, gossip, and analysis.
And the best music. On our playlist today is The Script, Chapel Roan, and ABBA.
And on the science menu, we have all things superheroes.
From the neuroscience behind supertoxins to the superpowers of animals.
And the way superheroes find their way into the real science.
We are sure to bring you a super hour of radio and music.
That's all coming up here on Science at 1.
I'm so excited. It's going to be a great week here this week at Science at 1. Or should I suppose I should say Science at 104. Thank you to our avid listeners for staying tuned to the channel for us as we got our stream started today. We had a bit of a super nemesis, or what would you say? A super trickster.
A yeah.
A villain. A super villain. Absolutely. That's the word. A super villain here in the studio recently who's played some tricks on us with all of our microphones and our tech, but let's not show you too far behind the curtain. We are in for a fantastic show today. What superheroes do you feel you resonate with the most, Lottie?
Oh, that's really, I think Superwoman, obviously. That sounded really...
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, you know,
Absolutely.
That's the first thing, you know, I hope people think. What about you?
Well, it's tricky. I would say I quite like superheroes who can fly. I feel like that's one that I quite resonate with. But I think I'll need some more time to think on it, to be honest. In the meantime, how about we listen to our first song of the day, which is Superheroes by The Script.
Took away the prophet's dream for a prophet on the street. Now she's stronger than you know. A heart of steel starts to grow. All his life he's been told he'll be nothing when he's old. All the kicks and all the blows, he won't ever let it show. 'Cause he's stronger than you know. A heart of steel starts to grow. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been struggling to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been working every day and night. That's how a superhero learns to fly. All the hurt, all the lies, all the tears that they cry. When the moment is just right, you see fire in their eyes. 'Cause he's stronger than you know. A heart of steel starts to grow. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been struggling to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been working every day and night. That's how a superhero learns to fly. Every day, every hour, turn the pain into power. Every day, every hour, turn the pain into power. Every day, every hour, turn the pain into power.
She's got a lion in her heart, a fire in her soul. He's got a beast in his belly that's so hard to control. 'Cause they've taken too much hits, they go blow by blow. Now light him at stand back, watch him explode. She's got a lion in her heart, a fire in her soul. He's got a beast in his belly that's so hard to control. 'Cause they've taken too much hits, they go blow by blow. Now light him at stand back, watch him explode, 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 explode.
When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been struggling to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly. learn to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly.
That was Superheroes by The Script. I love that song.
Right? It was so good. We were really jamming out in the
Yeah.
booth today. So for our first segment of the show, for real, I would like to talk about the phenomenon of animal-themed superheroes.
Ooh. I'm really excited about this. It really does seem like a common trope of superhero content.
Yeah, I feel like whenever superhero writers are adding in like a villain or a one-off superhero, it's always some sort of like animal-themed thing. I imagine it might be kind of difficult to come up with something that people will understand right away. But what I think is really interesting is that a lot of these superheroes or supervillains or super sidekicks don't actually have the traits of the animal that they are based off of that would give them the most superpowers. Like we were just talking about this in the break, but Batman, and I know he's not trying to be a bat. I got yelled at by our producer, which I think is kind of besides the point. The point is we're talking about cool things animals can do, and bats have echolocation, which is one of the coolest things.
Cool.
And Batman, at least most versions of Batman I've seen, doesn't really do echolocation, which is kind of a missed opportunity, I think, on the writer's part.
I agree. I mean, they're missing a lot out, really. I mean, why are they not doing that?
Yeah, and I mean, this happens often, I would say, but as a herpetologist, you know, our listeners, longtime listeners probably also know, that I have a particular interest in reptile superheroes. And one that caught my attention was the powers of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Have you ever interacted with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I'm aware of them. I have to say, I'm not an, avid follower of them.
No, I really fell off of my fandom status as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But essentially, they are these turtles that are also mutated by... it doesn't matter. They are mutant teenagers who are turtles and also have a ton of extensive ninja training, hence the very descriptive name. And I think, as I was looking into them recently, they actually do hit on some of the really cool real-life turtle superpowers.
Oh, they do. This is good.
Yeah, they're maybe an exception to the trend we were just talking about. Now, as I said, I don't want to get into the lore of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I'm not an expert and I'll only upset some of our listeners. But their lore does kind of obfuscate which of their abilities are based on their mutant turtleness and which are based on their ninja training. So they have these two things. They have super turtle mutantness, and they also have extensive ninja training. So some of these things could come from their ninja-ness, and some could come from the mutant turtleness. But we'll talk about them as if these traits that are true of turtles come from their turtleness. Let's give a good faith reading of the text.
Absolutely. Wait, so can you tell me a bit about like what else do they do that is turtley?
Yes, exactly. I would love to get into some of these things. So one thing is that they have a lot of resilience against attacks or things like that because of their tough skin and shells, which is true for turtles. Turtles have thick keratinized shells that allow them, that are actually attached to their skeletons, that can protect them from dangerous attacks, and they can hide in them. But something that's interesting about turtles is we think that evolutionarily shells weren't an adaptation in order to have protection from predators. They actually were an adaptation to help turtles dig, or which is the same motion that sea turtles do when they swim.
Ah, that's so interesting. So do the Ninja Turtles dig then?
I would say not necessarily. They spend a lot of time in sewers.
Oh, that's not digging.
No, it's not digging. And I don't think that digging is something they get up to in my memory of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But that's not the only thing that they get right. Another thing that this series gets correct is that turtles have a ton of super healing, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can heal much faster than a normal teenager turtle could. Sorry. So what's true about this is that turtles are extremely good at healing and at surviving traumatic injuries. Turtles are basically invincible. They can get injured super severely and with the right care and rest can bounce back. They can survive having their shells broken in half. Sometimes turtles will get crushed by a vehicle and still manage to survive if they're given the correct rehabilitation. I read a story once about a turtle that was shot through the torso with a bow and arrow and managed to survive. His name was Robin Hood. And they can even survive long periods of having zero access to oxygen. And to do this, they drop their heart rates to 1 beat per minute. So if you take their pulse, you might think that they have no pulse, but if you just stay there long enough, once per minute, you'll feel a beat.
That's amazing.
Yeah, turtles, they're super resilient. And so that's another thing that's true about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have some kind of superior healing factor.
That's very cool. Is there anything else they can do?
Yeah, one other thing is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are really fast. And I think people usually attribute the fastness to the mutantness or the ninja-ness rather than the turtleness of these heroes, this team of heroes. But turtles, I would say, actually get an unfair rap for their speed. Most turtles are extremely fast swimmers with an average turtle swim pace of 4 to 5 meters per second, an average meaning of all turtles. So there's some that are way faster than this. And honestly, they're not even that slow on land. The average turtle walking speed is 1 to 2 meters per second. So that's to say that even though probably the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got some of their speed from their training and from being mutants and also teenagers, the turtleness of it all gives them a good head start on their walking speed as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I need some turtle-powered superhero-ness right now.
Yeah,
it sounds great.
It sounds great. And looking into this, honestly, really got me thinking about what animal I would want to be the superhero version of. And so I'm curious, what do you think you would want to be?
I had to think about this, and at first I think echolocation is just so cool, and I was like, I want to echolocate. Yeah. But then actually, I kind of want to just like metamorphose, and like I would like to be in a pupae for a little bit and just sleep for a bit and then emerge, just like not doing any work. Well, you know, obviously lots going on, but then I can just emerge into this like beautiful butterfly. That's kind of what I want to do.
There's so many good options, and this is going to be quite a classic one that everyone can see coming. But honestly, I was thinking about it, and being an axolotl who can regrow entire limbs or organs perfectly, that's pretty sick. So I think I think that one just might be up there for me.
Yeah, you can like do cool stuff and like jump off things and then you regrow your limb.
Yeah, you can cut off your whole arm.
You wanted to.
You can break your brain, or not your brain, break your spine cord, and you can grow it back right away. But anyway, if there's anyone in the chat, I would love to hear what sort of animal superhero you would like to be as the show goes on.
Absolutely. Now we're going to go back to the music now. Thank you very much, Georgia. That was very exciting. I really enjoyed that. Here up next is Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl by Chapel Roan.
You know what they say, never waste a Friday night on a first date. But there I was, in my heels with my hair straight. And so I take him to this bar. This man wouldn't dance, he didn't ask a single question. And he was wearing these fugly jeans. It doesn't matter though, he doesn't have what it takes to be with a girl like me. Not over dramatic, I know what I want. We're leaving the planet and you can't come.
that was the banger Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl by Chapel Roan. Joining us now is Met. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So I hear you're going to be talking about how all the neuroscience of some comic book toxins. Is that right?
I am. So I am going to be talking about possibly the two most famous toxins in comic book history, at least to me, Joker Venom and Scarecrow's Fear Toxin. I would like to preface this by saying that what I am about to say is all very much speculative.
Okay.
There are no known substances that can accurately recreate the effects of these toxins, thankfully.
That's good.
If you know, well, as I'm about to describe, you don't want to be in contact with them. So I'm going to be putting my neuroscience degree to good use and theorizing about the potential mechanisms of action for these toxins.
Oh, I cannot wait. Okay, let's get right into it.
So to start off with a little bit of context, the Joker and Scarecrow are two supervillains from the DC universe. They're both adversaries to Batman. Most people can probably recognize the Joker. He's possibly the most famous comic book villain out there. He's a murderous psychopath with a warped, sadistic sense of humour. And in a similar vein, Scarecrow subjects people to their worst fears, for both his sadistic pleasure, but for also very unethical research purposes. Now, both Joker and the Scarecrow have created and utilised toxins to terrorise the citizens of Gotham and beyond. The Joker has created a substance called Joker Venom, and Scarecrow has created Fear Toxin.
Okay, what do these two toxins do?
So, Joker Venom causes victims to laugh uncontrollably, even if that's at odds with their actual emotions. And in some comics, this can lead to a very painful death. But in others, people can survive, though they'll have like a permanent smile forever. Some variants of Joker Venom can also cause disfigurement, so their skin will turn white, their hair will turn green, and their lips will turn red. They'll essentially end up looking like the Joker. For the purposes of theorizing today, we're going to ignore that extra little side effects because I think that will make my life a little bit more difficult.
All right.
In contrast, Fear Toxin causes the victim to hallucinate their worst fears, turning them into a reality. And high doses of Fear Toxin can lead to death due to panic-induced adrenergic cardiac arrest.
Oh god, well I'm glad you reminded us that those don't actually exist in real life. But how do you think these toxins could be working?
So let's start with Joker Toxin. Now, as a reminder, this is all just speculative. So the main effects of Joker Toxin is uncontrollable laughter, even if that's incongruent with how the victim is actually feeling. I.e., the victim might be horrifically sad or scared, but still unable to stop laughing. And so the incongruence of emotions actually provides us with a pretty strong basis to start theorizing. In fact, the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about Joker Venom is the pseudobulbar effect.
The pseudobulbar effect?
Yep, it's essentially uncontrolled bouts of laughter and crying. The main proposed diagnostic criteria for pseudobulbar effect states that the emotional expression should be excessive or incongruent with the emotional experience, which fits with Joker Venom. It's associated with a variety of neurological diseases, including traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis, brain tumours, stroke, Parkinson's, and lots of other dementias.
Oh.
So how does this work? Well, we don't know exactly, but some studies suggest that the cerebellum plays a key role in the development of pseudobulbar. The cerebellum ensures that the emotional responses are adequate based on the social situation. So perhaps Joker Venom works on the cerebellum. But unfortunately, PBA doesn't entirely fit the bill because it's not just uncontrollable laughter. Joker Venom also pseudobulbar effect also causes uncontrollable crying.
So a dead end then in our quest.
Well, not quite. So the uncontrollable laughter in pseudobulbar is seen in other disorders, and it is generally referred to as pathological laughter. So many neuroscientists agree that the brainstem must contain a final common pathway for laughter, which integrates facial expression as well as breathing. Now remember, the other effects of Joker Venom are a permanent smile and a painful death. Now,
every time you remind me of these, it's just
yeah, it's a bit depressing. But many people suggest that joker venom causes death because people essentially choke and suffocate to death because they're, too busy laughing so hard. And since the brainstem likely contains a neural circuit that controls laughter, facial expression, and breathing, I think it's a pretty good candidate for where joker venom is likely to act.
Wow. I'm so glad we have such a amazing investigator. Hey, I'm trying to give Met a compliment. We've got a very investigative journalist in the Gotham toxin neuroscience realm in here. Now, what about fear toxin? Can we go through that one quickly?
Well, fear toxin is a little more difficult because it's very specific about the fact that it makes you hallucinate your worst fear. And there's nothing in your brain that would mark out a concept as your worst fear. Like, there's no label saying, like, hey, I'm your worst ever fear. We do have drugs that make you hallucinate, and you can probably prime someone into hallucinating something a little bit more specific by saying, like, oh, there's, like, spiders in the room or something. But there's not really a way to make you hallucinate a specific fear without priming you first.
Another dead end then? Or
dead end police over here.
Not exactly. We can still theorize about how fear toxin could work. We know that there's a fear component and a hallucinogenic component. So from my research, I think that would probably have to remain separate. So we know that there's at least 2 substances in fear toxin. Now, hallucinogens usually act on a receptor in the brain called the serotonin 2A receptor. And acting on this receptor is what actually causes hallucinations. So we know we need a toxin that acts on this receptor, and the toxin would also need something to make the victim experience fear.
Is this like adrenaline or cortisol?
Those are good guesses, but not quite. You see, adrenaline and cortisol are hormones that are released in the body in response to a stressful situation. So, for example, if you came across the Joker threatening you with Joker venom, like the hormones themselves don't make you feel the emotion of fear, they just respond to it. They get your body ready to respond to a stressful situation. They elevate your heart rate, increase your breathing rate, and sharpen your focus. So exactly what you would need to run away from the Joker. So what we do need is something to make your brain think that you're in a stressful situation.
So could something activate an area of your brain then to make you think that something scary is happening, like right there and then?
That's a really good idea, and yeah, I think so. So there are actually a lot of areas in the brain that are involved in fear. It's what we call a brain-wide distributed neuronal network. And so areas like the amygdala and the medial prefrontal cortex are part of it. And it turns out, if you stimulate some of those areas of the brain with a safe amount of electricity, it causes a person to feel fear.
Oh.
Yeah, a few studies have reported fear arising from electrical stimulation to the amygdala. The amygdala is well known for processing emotions, particularly fear and aggression, and it's also associated with forming memories related to fear. So it feels like the amygdala is a pretty good candidate for a target area for fear toxin.
Aha! So putting it all together.
Well, fear toxin likely has the 2 active components that I said earlier. One that acts on serotonin 2A receptors to induce hallucinations, and another that stimulates the brain's fear circuitry, probably targeting the amygdala. The combination would trick the brain into experiencing vividly terrifying hallucinations based on your fear-related memories, if your worst fear comes from a memory especially. On the other hand, Joker venom seems like it could target the brainstem, where laughter, facial expression, and breathing are all tightly linked. Disrupting that system could explain the uncontrollable laughter, the kind of fixed grin that you get after exposure, and ultimately the fatal suffocation. So, while these toxins are fictional, the neuroscience behind them might not be entirely out of the realm of possibility.
That is such a coherent and clearly researched deep dive into the neuroscience.
I'm really glad we know.
Really, fleshed out world, Matt. I'm very, very impressed. But unfortunately, we do need to get back to the music before we have any time to discuss this further. I'm going to have to process this for a long time. Watch out, brain. Here is Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee.
unless I stuck by you. You're a sunflower. I think your love would be too much, or you'd be left in the dust unless I stuck by you. You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower.
Every time I'm leaving on you, you don't make it easy, no. Wish I could be there for you. Give me a reason to. Oh, every time I'm walking out, I can hear you telling me to turn around. Fighting for my trust and you won't back down. Even if we gotta risk it all right now. I know you're scared of the unknown. You don't wanna be alone. I know I always come and go, but it's out of my control. And you'll be left in the dust unless I stuck by you. You're the sunflower. I think your love would be too much, or you'll be left in the dust unless I stuck by you. You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower.
And that was Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee. So Lottie, have you seen the Superman movie yet?
I actually haven't, but I feel like I should. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it either, but I have been hearing similarly a lot of things like that. And, you know, Superman has been an iconic hero that has not only made it to the big screen, but even into the realm of science. Yeah, that's right, not just fiction anymore, baby. So to tell us a little bit more about this, we have Sydney in the studio. Welcome, Sydney.
Woo! Hello, everyone.
Yay! Always
Very
a pleasure to
excited.
have you.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here.
So, in what scientific fields can we find Superman then, Sydney?
So apparently Superman is actually a gene in multiple plants. So we're going to botany now.
Oh.
Which is very cool.
Botany, I love it.
I was very surprised to see it in botany. I feel like
Yeah.
Superman kind of gives the impression of being, in humans,
Mammal.
man, Who
Well,
would've
yeah,
thought?
but you know, Superman is more a feeling than anything else, wouldn't you say?
Yes, exactly. So in plants, it does different things, and not all plants have this, but the ones that have been studied kind of shows that it has slightly different things. But in the one that I'll talk about, which is Arabidopsis thaliana, which is veil cress or mouse ear cress. Cress!
I love cress.
Oh,
Like
Lottie's
from
favorite.
a sandwich.
Yeah, I know, sorry, I had
Egg and
cress
cress.
earlier, and I was just like, oh my god, sorry.
Sorry, we're derailing
Yeah,
your
No,
story,
no, it's
Sydney.
totally okay. So in cress, it is responsible for regulating the male and female reproductive organs of their flowers. So that would be the stamens and the ovules. This gene allows for them to be separated and will make sure that the flower has the correct number of stamens and the right size ovule. So before I get into this next little bit, do we remember what alleles are?
Of course.
Oh, I'm scarred by the allele.
Oh no.
Sorry.
That I loved the evolution and genetics section of my biology classes. So alleles are the copies of genes on two sets of chromosomes, and you get one from each parent, right?
Yeah, exactly. So plants also have alleles as well. And so for the Superman alleles, they can be modified epigenetically, which means that they can be chemically tagged to either allow them to be expressed or to prevent them from being expressed. So when these alleles are modified in this way, they're no longer called the Superman alleles. Any guesses as to what they're called?
Oh.
Wait, so they're no longer called the Superman.
They're
It's
like
not
the
called
opposite?
Superman. It's
Is it kryptonite allele?
Oh, that's really good. I don't know. Just unsuper,
Unsuper
rubbish
Plants.
man,
rubbish
bog
man.
standard bog plant.
Oh, I really wish that really rolls off the tongue. You know what I mean?
Standard man allele. I
So-
love that. If it's not,
so-
it should be.
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, it's not. But I think once I say it, you'll kind of realize they're called Clark Kent alleles.
Obviously, that's good. I
yeah.
guess in a certain way, isn't Clark Kent bog standard man?
Bog yeah, I was right. Bog standard allele.
Spot on, Lottie.
Lottie honestly got that.
We're getting some booze from the booth,
Oh
but
no! Oh no! So so they're called the Clark Kent alleles, and I just think it's so funny. So scientists have also given a name to a specific epigenetic modification that turns off the Superman gene completely. And then what do we think that one would be called?
Oh, surely this one is the kryptonite allele or modification.
And you would be right. It is called kryptonite in this case.
I've never seen a Superman film.
Gotta out myself as well. I haven't either, or at least
none of us have.
You can tell it's our producers and not the presenters who
Yeah.
picked the theme for today.
Exactly. But we ran with it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So I just really think it's so fun that researchers saw an opportunity to name a gene and to name this whole process, and they just really decided to go with Superman.
Yeah, I think they should be doing this all the time. Only pop culture references and
Yeah.
scientific names going forward.
Yeah.
Where's my survivor gene?
Oh,
Jeff
whoa.
Probst's gene?
Jeff Probst. That would
This
be
is great.
amazing.
Never ages.
Oh my god, never ages. Wears always a blue shirt. Like there
Blue
has
shirt
to be
gene.
something.
Anyway, sorry, this is so derailed.
So I will say though that there is actually one other instance where Superman does appear in the scientific field, and
Okay.
it's actually not a gene anymore. It is now a syndrome.
A syndrome, as in Superman syndrome.
Yes, and so this one is actually in humans, or documented in humans.
Okay.
And so unlike biological males who are typically born with an X and a Y chromosome, individuals with the Superman syndrome have an additional Y chromosome, making them supermen, if you will, with that additional Y chromosome.
Boo.
Yeah. Boo. Yeah, so that's the only other instance I could find with Superman in the scientific field, but I
Yeah.
do think it's funny that it
Talk
appeared
about a
twice.
deleterious mutation. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get some more different namings outside of just Superman in the future. We'll see, though.
Yeah, it could
I
be.
sure hope so. Oh, well, thank you very much for coming in and talking to us about Superman.
Yeah, no
It's
problem.
Always a pleasure to have you. Always a great story when Sydney's coming into the booth.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. But we do need to get back to the music. To play you out, Sydney, we have another hit, Super Trooper by ABBA.
Super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from Glasgow. All I do is eat and sleep and sing, wishing every show was the last.
That was Super Trooper by ABBA. You're listening to IC Radio, and this is Science at 1. I'm Georgia.
And I'm Lottie. And still to come, we have more news and a super cool game.
And in the meantime, we'd love it if you get in touch with us. You can email us via science19@gmail.com. That is confusingly written. Science as a word, 1 as a word, and 9 as a number. So SCIENCEONE number 9 at gmail.com.
Or you can comment in our live chat on YouTube. And right now, we've got Moogly Woogly in the chat who said, to ninja or to turtle? That is the question.
It's true.
And then Louisa with, what came first, the ninja, the turtle, or the mutant?
You've got to assume it's the mutant. I think that's the story of evolution.
That's...
Evolution is all mutation. I'm getting booed from the booth again. These people need to get in here if they want to give me their opinion. And we also have an anonymous listener, a classic anonymous listener, long-time anonymous listener, I guess I should say, with a rocket emoji. Thank you, long-time anonymous listener. Let's keep this conversation going in the chat in the second half of the show.
But first, let's get back to the music. Here is Wonder Woman by Casey Musgraves.
Baby, I ain't Wonder
Hello and welcome back. That was Wonder Woman by Casey Musgraves. I'm joined in the studio now with Tiernan. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm very excited today. We're doing a full deep dive into superheroes. This is like one of my favorite topics. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Absolutely could have guessed that about you. And perfect timing with the new superhero, or not superhero movie. I guess, yeah.
Well, it
the
is.
The new
is.
Superman movie coming out. Fantastic Four, I think, is coming out
Yes, it's
soon.
going to be coming out at the end of July. I'm very excited.
Everyone is talking about all
Everyone
things
who's
capes
anyone.
and spandex. Which, by the way, for listeners, this isn't a visual. Radio show, but Tiernan came in spandex today. Actually.
Full spandex. Yeah, I feel leathery.
Yeah, it's a very casual and comfortable vibe in the booth here today.
It's very freeing, honestly. Well, anyway, whenever I went to go see it at the weekend, and as I was watching it, it got me thinking a little bit, like, what actually makes a superhero? So is it the powers? Is it the costume? Like the moral code?
So philosophical.
I review films, honestly.
Okay, but the big question then, I mean, Batman doesn't have any superpowers, but he's still a superhero.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. So maybe it's less about what you can do and more about why you do it. So a superhero is someone who like stands up for others, fights for justice, whether they got like laser vision or like really awesome jujitsu skills.
So theoretically, so anyone then can be a superhero if you've got the right mindset.
I mean, like in my book, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, let's be honest. Superpowers would make it a lot easier. So that brings me to like one of the classic superpower origins that I'm sure both of you know about: radiation.
Yes, absolutely. The whole zap, zap, zap. Something mysterious happens and you wake up with abilities trope.
Yes, very much so. But here's the thing: like real life radiation exposure is nothing. Like,
Not funny.
not fun.
This is news to me.
In like movies, radiation's this magical shortcut to super strength or spider agility, but in reality, radiation sickness is not fun.
Okay,
It is a womp womp, exactly. Yeah.
So break it down for us then. What actually happens if you're exposed to high doses of radiation?
Well, it depends on the level. So on one part, you're looking at something like nausea or burns, but the more severe it gets to things like organ failure. And there are definitely no cool mutations. The real superpower you get is a severely weakened immune system.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So no gamma ray lab experiments to try and turn big, green, and mean?
No, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. Even if radiation could mutate your DNA, and in some cases it does, the odds of it giving you something useful, like flight or invincibility, basically zero. You're way more likely just to get really sick.
Well, mutants are also a super popular superhero population. I mean, X-Men are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And the films that you might have seen in like the mid-2000s, super great message, in my opinion.
Love those films.
Populations integrating diversity, loved it. But for example, take a popular mutant who's going to be coming out at the end of the month, the Human Torch, super famous mutant, has the ability to explode into a fireball.
That's so cool. I think I should see that. I think that sounds
I
very
know,
cool.
I can't wait. But if you bring that back to reality, if you had the mutation to do that, you would need every single one of your 75 trillion cells that make up your body to have that exact same mutation also.
That's quite a lot. How likely is that?
Basically
Oh,
zero.
okay.
Like, by definition, mutations are random. And so there's no scientific basis for that ever happening.
It would need to arise like right from conception.
Exactly. It would all happen at the same time, and it would all be the exact same mutation.
So, you know, maybe if you've had a mutation since birth to turn into a fireball.
Hey, maybe.
There you go.
Possibly.
Could be.
I don't know many people that have done that yet, but the future is hopeful.
Well, okay, that's a little bit disappointing because I really, I know Tiernan's the one in a superhero costume today,
Yeah.
but I really had my hopes up that today would be my day to turn into a superhero.
Oh.
So if radiation is off the table, how do you become a superhero? I need to know,
Well,
Tiernan.
there are ways, and I'm very glad that you asked, so we can break it down a little bit. 3 real-world steps. You can, 1, train like one. So again, Batman didn't wake up as a ninja
Just
or being
a
able to do
rich guy.
just a rich guy with a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
And
Just
was
like
able
us.
to learn some skills and become prepared for situations.
Mm.
You could also, number 2, help like one. I mean, superheroes, they serve and volunteer, they stand up for others, and they dedicate time to lifting up those around you. So that's really nice.
So lovely.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. And 3 is the one that obviously I've done today. You dress the part. It's very important to buy a cape. Or at the very least,
no capes? The Incredibles.
I mean, hey, different superheroes have different pros and cons. So I'm a sucker for a cape. I love a cape.
Yeah, well, it suits you
Yeah,
today.
thank
Yeah.
you so
I
much.
can say.
At the very least, you got to buy some bright red underwear to wear over your clothes.
As
Absolutely.
Tiernan has been demonstrating today,
Yes,
you really
exactly.
do need some
Confidence
extremely
is key.
tight, bright red
Confidence
underwear.
is key.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, it's the Science at One quick guide on how to be a superhero 101.
Exactly. You don't need a radioactive spider. You need determination and maybe a really cool catchphrase. Am I right, Tiernan?
Yeah, like bazinga. Super cool catchphrase. I love that one. I say it all the time.
I've heard you say it.
This is true.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you very much, Tiernan, for that guide. That was
No
really
problem.
helpful. I'll be taking that on board. We're now going to go back to the music, and up next is 5 Years' Time by Noah and the Whale.
Oh well, in 5 years' time we could be walking around a zoo with the sun shining down over me and you, and there'll be love in the bodies of the elephants too, and I'll put my hands over your eyes but you'll peek through, and there'll be sun, sun, sun all over our bodies, and sun, sun, sun all down our necks, and there'll be sun, sun, sun all over our faces, and sun, sun, sun. So what the heck, 'cause how we used to smoke all those stupid little cigarettes and drink stupid wine, 'cause it's what we needed to have a good time. But it was fun, fun, fun when we were drinking. It was fun, fun, fun when we were drunk, and it was fun, fun, fun when we were laughing. It was fun, fun, fun. Oh, it was fun. Oh well, I'll look at you and say it's the happiest that I've ever been, and I'll say I no longer feel I have to be James Dean, and she'll say yeah, well I feel all pretty happy too, and I'm always pretty happy when I'm just kicking back with you, and it'd be love, love, love all through our bodies, and love, love, love all through our minds, and it'd be love, love, love all over her face, and love, love, love all over mine. And though admittedly all these moments are just in my head, I'll be thinking about them as I'm lying in bed, and I know that admittedly they might not even come true, but in my mind I'm having a pretty good time with you. Oh, in 5 years' time I might not know you. In 5 years' time we might not speak. Oh, in 5 years' time we might not get along. In 5 years' time you might just prove me wrong. Oh, there'll be love, love, love wherever you go. 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 There'll be love.
Oh, what a nice song. I really enjoyed that. That was 5 Years' Time by Noah and the Whale. And I thought it wouldn't be a Georgia and Lottie hosted Science at 1 ep without ponds and pond life going on.
We are some wetland ecologists at heart. Long-time listeners know.
Absolutely. So I just thought I'd use this time to
well, we've got the show hostage.
Exactly. Now you guys have to listen to me.
Yeah, we did the superhero thing. Now it's wetland ecology time. Let's go, baby.
It's pond time. So I thought, there are some really cool things living in our ponds, and I think they are kind of superheroes in their own little way. They're little cute little superheroes with their little capes, and they're doing their little thing. So I thought I'd just chat about a few that I like.
I would love nothing more.
Oh, fabulous. Well, so the first one I thought I'd mention is, obviously, we're all familiar with dragonflies and damselflies. A lot of us don't realise that quite a lot of time in the lives of a dragonfly and a damselfly, they're larvae underwater. And these guys, even though they're really pretty when you see them flying around, they actually are fierce predators in their larval stage. They're pretty cool, and they're so cool. They have this extendable lower jaw called a labium that shoots out to catch prey, and that prey could be insects, small crustaceans, and little fish. So they're fearsome predators, and I thought that kind of like adaptation jaw thing could be a superhero trait,
Yeah. Oh, I would not love to see someone with a jaw like that coming.
No, it would be awful. It would be very, very bad. Another thing that these cool, this like group of dragonflies or damselflies do is they undergo something called incomplete metamorphosis. So I thought this was another superhero trait. Like, they don't need to be like a butterfly. It needs to be in a pupa to be able to metamorphose into a butterfly. These guys don't need to do that. Which is pretty cool.
There you go.
So they skip that.
Skipping puberty would be a great superpower.
Wouldn't that be great? You're just like a baby, and then just don't have to go through all the hormonal situations. So good.
None of that acne.
No, just plain sailing. So I thought those guys deserved a mention on my superhero list.
Yeah, absolutely. What other critters?
So I think a personal favourite is I would like to walk on water, personally. I think that would be quite cool. I have tried. It doesn't work. So, yeah. So I thought I'd mention the pond skater in this one because very cool. They're little insects that can walk around on the surface of the water, and they feed on smaller insects that they stab with their sharp mouth parts. And they do this because they have water repellent hairs on the bottom of their feet.
Oh.
Which is very cool. They can walk on the surface.
I don't know if I want the hairy feet part of this superpower.
No, but Georgia, if you could walk on water for a bit for hairy feet, that's a good deal.
I'll have to think about it.
Oh, that's very fair.
I think the damselfly larva one might be calling me more so far, but I think you mentioned you have some other options.
I do. I have two more. One more is the water scorpion.
Okay.
And this one, people forget we have water scorpions in the UK. So
absolutely.
They're not, I know, yeah, people don't think about it, and if they go in a pond, they might be able to find a really, really cool thing.
Yeah, you got to get dipping.
You got to get yourself dipping. A massive advocate for pond dipping. But anyway, these guys, they're little dark brown crawling insects looking like scorpions, but they're not real scorpions. They can't hurt you. They do hurt little tadpoles and small fish, but you're not. If you're listening to this, you're not a tadpole.
Yeah, shout out in the chat if you're a tadpole or a small fish in the chat right now, because I do want to hear.
Yeah, I want to hear from you and your experience.
Our email is science19. Sorry, go on.
But these guys, their superpower is not actually they've not really got a stinger. The sort of pseudo stinger, because it's not a real stinger, it doesn't hurt you, is actually a snorkel, so they can breathe, which is sick.
Oh, built-in snorkel.
Built-in snorkel superpower, absolutely. And my last one is my personal favourite. I've done a little bit of work with the case caddis myself.
I love caddisflies.
Trichoptera for the love. We love Trichoptera, and these guys, I think they have like an invisibility cloak, which I thought was really cool, because what they do is they sort of build their case around them. If they're a cased caddisfly, they build their sort of case around them using materials that they're living in. So whatever you're living in, whether it's a really sandy sediment, maybe it's stony sediment, maybe it's leafy, they'll blend in with their surroundings, and if they're disturbed, they can hide in their little case. So I thought, invisible cloak, how cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when I find one when I'm out pond dipping. Those are probably my favorite thing to catch, which is saying something because newts exist.
Yeah,
know?
And that's a big thing for you to say.
Everyone knows that I love newts, but I love caddisfly larvae even more. Maybe.
Okay.
It's hard to say. When I'm pond dipping.
I remember when I was studying with them, we just had to look for moving sticks, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
So look out for
Or
those
like
moving
little
sticks.
pebbles.
Yeah, little
Anyway,
pebbles. Yeah.
I could talk about Caddisfly Larva forever, but we
Me
do have another
too.
song we need to listen to. In fact, this is one I've been waiting for all show.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Holding out for it.
You could say, if anyone has guessed what the song is by now, it is Holding Out for a Hero from Shrek 2, a film I have seen.
Yay, me too.
Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds? Isn't there a white knight upon a fiery steed? Late at night, I toss and I turn and I dream of what I need. I need a hero. I'm holding up for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding up for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure and he's gotta be strong and he's gotta be larger than life, larger than life. Somewhere after midnight in my wildest fantasy, somewhere just beyond my reach, is someone reaching back for me. Racing on the thunder and rising with the heat. It's gonna take a Superman to sweep me off my feet. Where the mountains meet the heavens above, where the lightning splits the sea, I could swear that there's someone somewhere watching me. Through the wind and the chill and the rain and the storm and the flood, I can feel his approach like a fire in my blood. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. And he's gonna be sure, and it's gonna be soon, and he's gonna be larger than life. Oh, he's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero.
Wow. That was Holding Out for a Hero from Shrek 2, maybe?
I think it was from originally self-titled film. The Ogre.
Listen, I saw Shrek 2 and I put it on.
Interesting. You know, we can only do so much on this show. We've brought you a lot of really good science content, and now we're bringing you some more or less interesting tunes. Now, you may have been able to hear from that intro that Lottie and I are not alone. For our last segment of the day, we are joined by Tiernan, who is here to
Hello.
run a game for us, a likely thing for Tiernan to do. And of course, we have a belligerent superhero expert from the booth, Met, here to join us for the game.
I do love my
Finally
superheroes.
able to voice your true
Oh my
feelings
gosh.
Yeah.
and not just through the producer mic.
Amazing. This is going to be very interesting because this is obviously going to be a battle of wits. So how this is going to
No,
work
it's not going to go off me.
is I have a couple of heroes lined up that are quite obscure and lesser known, and it is going to be up to you three to try and figure out what the power of that superhero would be depending on their name.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you the name, and you are going to have to try and figure out what their powers might be depending on what they're called.
Wait, they are real superheroes.
So they are real superheroes.
Okay.
They've
Real,
all been,
like,
they've all been
fictionalized
published in
superheroes.
various
They are
different
fictional.
publications.
fictional?
Yeah, these aren't real people.
They could be.
They,
Yeah, what was it you
somewhere
were
in the
saying
world.
earlier about just like a dedication
Bogman.
to your community and like
Bogman.
Oh, yeah.
preparedness and an outfit is all you need?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So maybe
Sorry, go
it's
on.
it's the heart that they have. But
No.
we're gonna do it in a way that we're gonna have points for whoever is closest to what their
Ooh.
power is
Okay,
going to be.
that makes
Because some of
sense.
these powers are just quite niche.
Could you
or-
get 2 points if you get it exactly?
If you get it
right?
exactly right, you can
Okay.
get 2 points. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
That's exciting.
Okay, cool.
That's not
Amazing.
going to
Keeping
happen
it
to me.
So we'll go with the first one. The first
Oh, yeah.
one is called Mr. Midnight. Mr. Midnight.
See, I know a Dr. Midnight. but I
Yeah.
don't
So
know
Mr. Midnight, I'll give you a little
Midnight.
backstory. It was introduced by the Lev Gleason publications, the same people that did the Daredevil comics. It was in Silver Streaks Comics #1. This character, Mr. Midnight. What do we think?
I would say, okay, I think Mr. Midnight has the ability to stop time at midnight to add like an extra, like the witching hour. Like
That's so
he is
specific. Oh, I
able
love
to
that.
create the witching hour at midnight. That's my guess.
Okay.
Who's next?
Okay.
I think that he can sort of command nightfall,
Okay.
and then he can do his little tasks. You know,
Oh.
the sneaky things.
He needs to do sneaky things. Okay, so he controls nighttime.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would guess that, but I feel like there's a lot of superheroes out there whose names don't follow on
That is true.
from what they do.
Yeah, it's a
Like-
bit tricky when all we have is the
Mr. Fantastic,
name.
Mr. Terrific. You wouldn't know that, you know.
He could do
So
bad
what do you
things.
think they do? If you have if you
I-
have 10 seconds to come up with a guess.
I'm just gonna go with like a baseline telepathy because, like,
Ooh.
It's a good guess.
you know,
It's a safe bet.
it's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to believe this. Georgia has 2 points.
No way.
That is wild. Mr. Midnight,
Oh,
a
you're
exact
making that up.
power is to stop time at midnight.
that's crazy.
In doing
No
so,
way.
his calling card is leaving a little clock face with the hands struck directly at midnight.
Wow.
He stops time by saying, "Time stop." And he starts time again by saying, "Time proceed."
There is
Wow.
no
Wow.
way. Are you sure you're not pulling my
Nope,
leg?
that is 100%. That is 100%. Very
I'm
well
feeling
done.
so tickled.
Do
So-
I get half a point?
Sadly not. It's a bit of a cutthroat industry here.
Okay. That's
Okay,
alright.
but that's very good. We'll go on to the next one. So, the next one, Flat Man. Flat Man.
Ooh,
Oh,
I feel like
do
he's
you
gonna
think,
be
Flatman?
able to travel around places just like by being on a flat surface.
Like a flat
Okay.
Stanley.
Do you know what
type?
I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
like
Oh.
he can like just like flip to like another
Interesting.
area, just by
Interesting.
going like.
I
that's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
No, you go.
No, you
Lottie.
go. I want to get inspired.
I don't know that mine will be inspiring.
Oh.
I'm feeling so excited that I got two that I'm going to go for one that I absolutely think is not right, but I wish were true, which is that Flat Man, his superpower is to give pain-free top surgery to whoever wants one. Just a flat chest.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Nice.
2 more points for George.
That's it.
Go on, Lottie. What's your guess?
I don't know. My first thought was like maybe he's an advocate for flat Earth, and
Ooh,
That's-
that's very
But
fun.
is
I
that a
don't know.
superhero?
well, maybe not,
Well-
or maybe he just can flatten things
yeah,
like the Earth.
Ooh.
Interesting.
that
like
would
a
be
villain,
very
actually.
OP.
This-
That would be so OP.
Okay, so yours is flat Earth
Yeah.
or to flatten things.
Yes.
Met is believing that they can travel along flat surfaces. and Georgia is free top surgery.
Free top surgery, free,
Okay.
painless, no recovery.
I will tell you. Okay, we'll make this a group discussion. I will
Okay.
tell you the power. The power of Flatman is that he simply was born flat.
Like
So
Flat Stu.
he,
wow.
he is very much just
yeah.
like a sticker, but he has the powers very much kind of ripped off from Mr. Fantastic. So he can stretch his sort of bodies and appendages to sort of like extreme lengths. So I'm more inclined to go along with the travel simply
Yeah,
because
I
he
feel
can
like I'm
stretch
closest.
rather
Yeah.
than fold
Well,
stuff down.
I don't know,
Yeah.
mutilating or changing a
You're
body.
changing.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
well,
but
he
you
was
said he was
born
giving
this
other
way, so he's
people.
I don't know. Okay,
Is he a DC?
I'm gonna give both of you half a point.
Okay, okay.
I'll give both of you half a point.
By both of you, do you mean all three of us?
No, that's not fair. I got the closest. That's not fair.
Okay, a half point for Lottie and for
amazing,
Matt.
fantastic. Now, number 3, doorman.
Oh,
Just doorman.
opens.
If anyone in the chat has read Unhinged, our producer just put a reference to that in, and we will not talk about that on air.
I forgot about that.
Doorman.
I feel like, okay, judging by my knowledge of superheroes, that's the kind of thing that, like, someone can open a portal to a different dimension and can either go through themselves or can let other people go and, like, travel.
Yeah, I was thinking something kind of similar to that, where it's like doorman in the sense of like the nice fella who works in an elevator in a fancy building. Like he has an elevator that can take you to wherever.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm saying a similar thing, but specifically elevator related.
Oh, okay.
Or like or one of those spinny turning doors
Yeah.
at a fancy
Revolving
place.
doors.
What do we think, Lottie?
Well, I was also thinking portal. I was thinking like fairy portal.
Fairy.
Like, you know,
portal.
mushroom rings,
Oh,
fairy rings. I was
yes.
thinking more like fairyland vibe. But then
Interesting.
doorman is just not giving fairy.
Could he just turn into a door, like
It
block any
probably
gap
could be
with
that.
a door?
Maybe he turns himself into a door and people walk through him.
Yeah.
Or he has like his fingers or something can turn into the key for any door.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
I like that. I'm gonna go with that just to be different.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
gonna say
so-
fairy portal.
Fairy portal. Met is going with opens portals to travel through for themselves and other people, and Georgia is
Fingers
fancy
are
elevator
keys,
man. Oh wait.
but also he's dressed as an elevator man.
Okay. Fingers are keys, but dressed as an elevator man. Matt gets 2 points. Doorman is a little known member of the even lesser known Great Lakes Avengers team. Yep.
Sorry, that was so loud.
microphone.
Sorry,
Oh
that was
my
so loud.
goodness.
Alias is
I
Demar
recognized
Davis.
his name.
Doorman can generate portals as well as make himself intangible, so he can't be touched, no physical form. And they've gotten him out of sticky situations. Very well done.
I
so we
know
currently...
the Great Lake Avengers
Amazing.
very well.
Brilliant.
so-
They're an unlikely team.
Big
that run into
Bertha. Shout out to Big Bertha, my favorite Great Lakes Avenger.
Wonderful. The last superhero that we're going to have.
Okay.
Some of you might know this. Spider Ham.
John Mulaney.
Yeah, he was in that
Spider-Ham.
film.
Spider Ham.
Well, he
Spider Ham.
is like he's a pig. Well, he's not a pig.
Okay.
But I can't remember how he got his powers though. I can't remember.
Ooh.
He was
Bit by a radioactive pig,
Okay,
probably.
Right.
But okay, we're trying to guess what his power is.
Yeah.
Spider Pig.
I think he's really good at
Well, he
stand-up
can-
comedy. Like he
he can
hams
shoot.
it up.
webs. No, I feel like he can shoot webs and he can stick to surfaces.
Yeah, I think he's just like a goofy Spider-Man. I think stand-up comedian Spider-Man. Like he hams it up. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. Ham's like stand-up comedian Spider-Man. Lottie, what do we think?
It's a tricky one for me. I'm thinking something to do with webs.
Webs. Okay.
Yeah, and pigs. Pig webs.
Pig webs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Nice,
and
pig webs.
Yeah, pig webs.
Cool. Nice. Matt.
I'm just gonna go for he has pretty much very similar powers to Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
Okay. Yep. Very good. Again, it'll be a group discussion for you guys to decide.
It's a group discussion.
Yeah.
Sounds
Simply
like
just
a
because
drama
we've got quite a lot of similar things, and
Oh.
they're very, very similar.
roll. Okay.
So, Spider-Ham is a pig version of Spider-Man hailing from an alternate dimension. Spider-Ham was originally a regular spider called Peter Porker and was bitten by a radioactive pig. So yes, Georgia, you were exactly right.
Okay.
He became a superhero known as
Okay.
Spider-Ham, and he has all of the powers that Spider-Man does, as well as some alternate dimension, Deadpool-esque kind of dimensions and portals can like take really big things out of his pockets.
I was gonna say, I remember him like getting a random big mallet.
Yeah, so he's able to kind of like, if you've ever seen the film The Mask.
No.
With it's a very good film. I would recommend you all watch The Mask. It's very good.
I mean, I think we all kind of had said basically.
Yeah, so this is where I mean, sort of like, I feel like you all.
Is that like a point each?
I think that's a point each.
A point each. Although I did
like
say the bit by a pig thing.
But I also said that basically the
Spider-Man
same thing as Peter Parker.
I will say
bit by a pig is kind of a pull, I think.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to have. I'm gonna give Georgia a point.
Okay.
I'm going to give Met a point, and I'm going to give Lottie a point. I'm going to give 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who won?
So the scores in the end are Lottie with 1.5 points, Georgia with 3 points, and Met with 3.5 points. Good job, Met. Yeah, this is a great leading away from the microphone for the audio podcast. Anyway, this is a great game. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tiernan.
you very much.
But I do think this brings us now at a crisp 2:18 to the end of our show.
That's all this week at Science at One. And we hope you really enjoyed this foray into the world of superhero science.
I know I learned a lot, both about facts from our contributors and fiction from our yelling producers.
We will be back for more Science at One, so keep our notifications on.
And we hope you have a great week. As Tiernan always says, bazinga!